So so her theory on death being not being final. It's like there's truth in that. So that's why her exploration is like, let me figure out a way to reverse this. So that's the general way her story starts. And we see her drag her brother's body after he gets shot. Mm-hmm. That's the saddest part about this thing, because she had enough bodies to piece them together. So people are just getting killed here daily, and she's dragging the bodies to her lab and piecing them together.
She was known as the body snatcher.
Like yeah.
There's like a lot of bodies was coming up missing, and she was the one. And so pretty much to move along the story, she's putting her brother back together. You know what I mean? And this is part of the movie where I was just like, you know, you think a movie's gonna be a certain way, and then it just goes,
left field. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm thinking she's gonna bring her brother back, and her brother's gonna, like, you know, help the neighborhood. I don't know, help her.
Hey, literally, that's what I
thought. You are now tuned into Black on Black Prime.
Disclaimer: no matter if we liked your movie, liked your show, or hated the show, or hated your movie, doesn't matter. We respect you, shout outs to you, and we support you, and we try to get everybody else to support you like we support you. Black on Black Prime, we stand on what we say, though.
And just like always, if you didn't ask for our opinion, we didn't ask you to listen to it. So, sorry.
Click and turn it off. Hey, y'all. We are here with another one.
Yep.
This one is called The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, starring Layla DeLeon Hayes as Victoria.
Have you seen her or something before?
Of Vicaria. We saw her. I didn't know until my wife told me we saw her in Equalizer. She was Queen Latifah's daughter.
Okay. I seen her, like, I see she has a list of things that she's done, but I haven't seen none of these.
If I look at the list, I'm sure she acted in something when she was small. She seemed like that type of actress.
Right. It's funny because I've seen the other little girl, the real small girl. I seen her in something else. I feel like she looked familiar.
You saw her in that terrible show.
What show was it?
I think that was her. And oh no, that wasn't her. That little girl was darker.
It was about to bang on that girl.
I was, man, because I hated that show. It wasn't her fault, but the show Us, not Us, the show Them.
Okay. You didn't like Them?
No.
Oh wow. I thought that was a good show. We didn't even review it.
No. If we would have reviewed it, that would have been the most viewed, because I had some hate for that show. Literally.
She's actually not in that. She might just look like somebody. She ain't really in no movies.
Oh, okay, never mind. She just looked like she's been acting since she was little.
She is little.
But no, she ain't little. You could tell she was not no little kid in here.
Like 8.
She looked like she was like maybe almost 21.
I'm talking about the little girl.
Oh, you talking about the little girl? I thought you were talking about. I thought we went back to the other girl, to the main actress.
I'm like, what?
But the little girl was a good actress, though. I appreciate when little kids can act. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So this show is based on Vicaria, the main actress. She has a theory that death is a sickness.
Mm-hmm. She can heal death.
Her whole goal is to heal death. So the movie starts with her describing the sickness. You think it's everything she's describing. Like, you see her brother gets killed, her dad is smoking crack. You think she's describing all of these things as the sickness, when in actuality she's describing death as the sickness.
Mm-hmm. Does her mom die in the beginning too?
Yeah, her mom got shot in the head, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It started when she said, "I heard my mom's heart stop beating."
Mm.
And then you see her mom's holding her. Do you hear the gunshot? Do you see the blood like drop down to her head?
Right. Yeah.
They were real gory in this show. They showed a lot.
I kind of appreciated that as a black horror, because it's like, you know, most of our black horrors are funny.
Lighter. They're funnier and lighter.
Yeah, like this was a actual, like, you're gonna see blood and gore and guts.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a soft stomach, that's coming for sure.
Oh man, I was eating up a bowl of gumbo. Like, I don't know if I could do this.
I was eating fries and ketchup. I was like, oh, how last where we going?
I don't know. I don't know if this is the best move.
Stitching up her brother. I was like, yeah, I ain't hungry no damn more.
Oh man. Oh man, the stitching up the brother. I was like, ew.
You hear the noises, you like,
And they kept it on it. They lingered on it.
they did.
So it starts. You see, she lives in the projects that are ran by the Bloods. Um, her world is ridiculous, but she also goes to an accelerated school.
Mm-hmm.
I like what she told the little girl about that too.
Oh yeah. She was just like, school is smart because I'm there.
Yeah, I like what she was trying to feed into that little girl, because you could tell the little girl was like, she was stuck in a world between the sassy and wanting to be like her. She kind of looked up to her, you could tell.
Yeah,
but it's like she still had a little mouth on her.
Her mama was as ghetto as a sugar sandwich. She
was
was popping her neck every time she talked. But her mama was. That's the thing about like moms like that. Like, even though they could, be hood, her mom was like, go over there and practice your homework.
That's not her mama.
That's not her mama.
That was her sister.
What was the mom? Mama wasn't the dark skinned lady, was it?
Yeah, the mama came in with the green pants.
I didn't think that was her mom. Well, but
that was the mama, because I believe she said it. She said, listen to your, remember she was talking to her, she said, listen to your sister. She was I'm talking about Vicaria was telling the little girl, she was like, yeah, just listen to your sister. She's telling you the right thing, something like that.
Okay, well, she was a good sister then.
Yeah, she was that. You could tell she's that sister that watches the kids.
Right. Yeah. Because the mom I was like, that lady came out of nowhere. I didn't even know who that lady was until I was like, okay. Because I know the pregnant lady, the one I'm talking about, that's Chris's kid's mom now. Was going to be.
Yeah.
Mom. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
That's so that's that was her sister. That was her little sister.
Okay.
So we see she talked about the school, then we see her in the school.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with one of my problems with school.
This is actually my favorite part. The school.
Yeah. Because you see, so in school you can see the teacher doesn't want her to have an opinion.
Yeah.
The teacher, she wasn't disrespectful when she because what did she tell her? What did she it was about death, right? Like,
yeah, she was,
death is not.
Yeah, she was talking about like diseases, like real like cancer or whatever. But she was trying to also like teach the class, and she was just like, well, she was just saying her theories. You know what I mean? Like, she was trying to give the teacher her point of view on it, and the teacher just was like, after a while, like, all right, I got to teach still. I mean,
it wasn't after a while.
It was quick.
It was very fast.
So it's just like the teacher's like, listen, I gotta teach this class. I know you saying what you're saying, but she got attitude with her pretty much. And I didn't like the fact that she was like, call security. Like, that was
immediately.
That wasn't cool. Because I was like, she didn't do nothing. Now that she put your hands on you.
Right.
Like,
she did.
Like, what school is that where they call security?
All she did was state her opinion. For the fact that in your mind you can't understand her opinion, she's wrong, and she's being disrespectful, and she's disrupting the class.
Right.
And you can't help but think maybe because she's the only Black girl in this class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who is she to think that she knows more than I do?
All right. Right. Like, well, and that's another thing. It's like you have teachers that are, pretty much they have to teach a curriculum, right? They have to teach what's in the book. So that's already embedded in their mind on how things really work. You know what I mean? You're an adult and this is a kid that has a new theory. We're not programmed like that. You know what I mean? As adults, to hear a little kid talk about, because I mean, just imagine you're a teacher, a little kid, it's like you're gonna hear them out, but after a while, like, if it sounds like nonsense to you, you're not gonna really hear it, because it's like that's not what you were taught.
Right.
It's like, that's your theory, cool, but this is how it really is. Like, a majority of people believe this to be a fact. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing.
Right.
I'm just saying that that's how the world works. You know what I mean? Like, that's how education works pretty much. It's like, we have to teach you what we know to be true. You know what I mean? Like all
Right.
the
Which
new
is ignorant.
information, you can make your own school and talk about all that, or you believe whatever you want to believe. But while you're in school, you're gonna learn this, or you're not gonna pass. That's pretty much how schools are.
And that's ignorance.
Yeah.
That's we discover by discovering. There's a process to discover. You can't shut down nobody's mind and be like, stick to this script or nothing will change.
But you know how, man, little kid, like a child telling you something is an adult, something is different. The adults are stuck in their way.
Yeah, but there's a way you,
like, what?
there's a way you go about it. It's like there's a way when a little kid like like they be like a little kid want to tell you a story, you don't shut them down because you don't want to hear. Like you listen to the story, you don't got to believe it. You can tell the story is BS, but you let them get that story out. Be like, oh man, that's crazy. You could do one of those. Like, so I'm in class. You got a whole theory. I'm in class. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. But listen, but this is what we're doing. You could tell she was just irritated at the fact that she had a difference of opinion.
She knew all of the answers. That's one thing that I will say. She had all of the answers the teacher was asking. Like the teacher was saying, so blah 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 blah, and she would just say she would give the answer, and the teacher got tired of that. But then when she had her own opinion, it really just threw her over. You was like, yo, look, you're not the only one in this class. You know what I mean? Like I got to teach these kids. I was like, you want to teach? That's pretty much her whole mindset. You know what I mean? But the security, I feel like she went too far with that one. I mean, she's a child.
Yeah, she did
a girl too.
Yeah, she didn't respect her at all. Nah. She literally didn't respect her at all, and it all boiled down. You could tell she didn't respect her by simply not even wanting to say her name correctly.
Yeah, she didn't say anybody's name correctly. She was already stuck in her ways. You know what I mean? And that's just ignorance. I don't even know if it is because we throw around the word racist a lot. I just think it's just they're just dumb.
It's prejudice. You can tell, like I said, you can tell by a look. I read body language. I read the things that I don't got to listen necessarily listen to what you say. You could say something that'll trigger something in my mind, but I'm watching your body language, your presence, and how you looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I can tell what type of person you are, and that's how she looked at her, kind of like the audacity of you to have an opinion.
Right.
Like, who do you think you are to have an opinion in my class? And I'm gonna try to embarrass you, and I can't embarrass you. So now I'm getting mad, and let me call security and get you out of here because now you're a threat. Because your black intelligence is coming out, and you're not supposed to be intelligent. You're supposed to be a black kid with a chance to learn at a level of the rest of the white students. Right. Message: don't ever brown. And I my favorite scene was when the dad walked in there.
He was already kind of off his rocker a little bit, but he came in there. He snapped back in the father mode. He snapped.
And that's the appreciation I have for that is because she wasn't a perfect student, but he also understood that she was very intelligent. So his approach was don't treat her like she's stupid. I know she's messing up. If you want to talk to me about her missing class and all of that, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
But my issue is you called the police on my child
and had the police touch her.
He
put her on the floor.
Yeah, his whole thing was if I understand she missed some tests, all of this, send me a message about that. Call me about that. Why? But you calling the police because she had a difference of opinion.
Yeah. That's wild.
That's ridiculous. But it's like, have your child's back when all these whenever I've been to a parent-teacher conference, I'm there for my child. I'm not there to team up with the teacher and talk down on my child because evidently there's something wrong here. If he's messing up in school, there's a miscommunication and there's something going on with him. I'm not gonna come in here and we gonna team up and bash him and say why you didn't do this, why you didn't do this. I'm gonna ask both of y'all. I'm there. The conference is for me to ask you what you doing wrong and what he's doing wrong.
Right.
The teacher literally told my older son started 7th grade. He failed the whole first quarter, and I'm like, she's like, yeah, he wasn't doing homework, he wasn't doing tests. I'm like, well, why didn't you call us about this? Well, we like to let them do it on their own for the first quarter, and by the next quarter. I'm like, that's you literally can't. That's stupid.
That's like now we're behind, and you could have told me
now he's playing catch up.
Yeah, that don't make sense. Yeah, that's definitely how teachers are, man. They're so focused on they have all of these different students or whatever. And I feel like that's the messed up part about it, being a teacher. If you can't do
They're
it,
overwhelmed.
you can't do it, then don't. You know what I mean? It ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? You go into it knowing like, hey, I have to make sure that every student feels like I'm there for them. You know what I mean? It's like you can't use the excuse, I got to teach other kids, or you know what I mean, I got more kids to teach. So it's just like, okay, well, this is one of them.
That's a scapegoat. That's the excuse. When it's like, well, why didn't I get no calls? Well, there's 29 other kids in my class. Like, I didn't set up your class. You call me when he fails though. You call me when he fails though. You can't call me when he's going through it. You can't call me when the red flag is going off.
They just gonna kick him out.
You want to call me when it's too late. Yeah.
Kick him out, and then man, trust me, I done went through it.
Not all teachers are like that though. But anyway, so yeah, so that sets the tone of how smart she is and how rebellious she is and how ambitious she is. It's like nobody can tell her different. Death can be cured.
Right. And I think this is because she's all, I don't know where she, because they didn't really go into that of like how she was, because she had never made somebody come back to life. She just had her theories, and she had that book, you know what I mean? She just thought it was possible. I wish they would have dug deeper into that. Like, why does she feel that way? Or, you know what I mean? I mean,
I don't. It's like her dad said. She just thinks outside the box.
Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? But it's like facts also back those kind of, you know what I mean? Like it to be true versus like you assuming just like everybody else is. I look at everything as like that was your opinion. Unless it really happened, it's just an opinion.
Hey, but your opinion can grow. Your opinion can grow to action. Your opinion could be like your opinion, or not opinion. Your prediction can be a fact if you fight hard enough for it. So it's like she wasn't just thinking like this could happen. She's trying to figure out ways for this to happen. So she's not saying it's guaranteed. It's just an idea.
Yeah, as long as you like, ideas and opinions is cool, and I think that's why I'm really bad at debates, because if you're trying to debate me your opinion and make it sound like a fact, I don't want to hear you talk no more. Like, tell me your opinion and I'll listen to it, and I'm gonna tell you mine, and we can kind of go back and forth on why yours is right and mine is right, and back and forth until we agree to disagree. But you're not going to fact check me with opinions. I mean,
hey, and that's a problem with woke brothers. Yeah, y'all read books and think those books are your tools to judge other brothers you feel ain't woke. So instead of having a dialogue, communication, explain your opinion, you rather walk up and be like, see, this is the problem and this is the problem. You're never gonna get your message across that way. I look you in your face, listen to everything you're talking about, and ignore everything you're talking about. Yeah. And I like playing with emotions of people like that. You get what I'm saying? Because I know how to be an a-hole when I need to. So I'll listen to what you're saying and just pick apart what you're saying. I literally don't care, but for the fact that you feel like you read enough books to judge what I'm doing, so let's have a debate. Let's have that debate then, so I can point out everything. I can point out all the flaws in your theory. I can point out how the Bible is an opinion and not a fact, and just make you mad. You know what I mean? For the fact that you felt comfortable enough to judge my life and pass your judgment on me because you read what somebody put in a book. You don't even know the man that wrote that book. You just respect him so much, and everything he said got to be fact. It ain't no fact. It's an opinion. If you want to have a dialogue, I can respect you on that level. I can have a dialogue with a 17-year-old and get more knowledge from him than a woke dude.
Yeah, I've known you for a long time, and I know that you're the type of person like you hold on to words in conversations. You know what I mean? So it's like you are listening. So there's nothing that I could say. You'd be like, well, you said this last time. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember saying that last time. So it's like, I know if I'm having a conversation with you, I gotta watch what I say, because the mind works like sometimes you be just saying stuff. You know what I mean? You might not you know what I mean? But if a person holds you to a certain, like, well, you felt that way last time, but you feel this way this time, that's right there, the argument over.
So. Yeah, it is. But when you deal with when you talk to the woke dudes who just know it all, that's a trigger for them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Then, now you that girl in that classroom. How dare you tell me I'm wrong or what I thought. I never told you were wrong. You heard wrong because I disagreed.
Right. Yeah.
So so her theory on death being not being final. It's like there's truth in that. So that's why her exploration is like, let me figure out a way to reverse this. So that's the general way her story starts. And we see her drag her brother's body after he gets shot.
Mhm.
That's the saddest part about this thing, because she had enough bodies to piece them together. So people are just getting killed here daily, and she's dragging the bodies to her lab and piecing them together.
She was known as the body snatcher. Like
Yeah.
like a lot of bodies was coming up missing, and she was the one. And so pretty much to move along the story, she's putting her brother back together. You know what I mean? And this is part of the movie to where I was just like, you know, how you think a movie's gonna be a certain way, and then it just goes, it just go
left field. Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm thinking she gonna bring her brother back, and her brother's gonna, like, you know, help the neighborhood. I don't know, help her.
Hey, literally, that's what I thought.
Because it started off like that, you know what I mean? He came back to life, and they broke into like a car, I guess, to get drugs out of it. So I'm thinking, you know, he gonna go back and get his killers. I'm thinking this about to be lit.
I thought she made Meteor Man, like, but I control him. You know what I mean? This is literally what I'm thinking when I see her. So her theory, so she sees a little boy earlier at her lab. She's explaining to him why he can't come in her lab, and they're talking about death, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the little boy is kind of like, everybody know death is death. Don't he say something like to that? Like some like
little boy that ends up getting shot.
Yeah, he said something to her that was cold, like somebody his age shouldn't be saying.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he said verbatim, but I know their conversation, and they were going back and forth on the topic.
Right. I don't want to quote him and misquote him.
Yeah.
But then you see by the end of their conversation, he's part of the gang too. He's that little, but he's part of the gang too, because he like wipes his face with the rag.
Right. Yeah,
and then later on, you see that same little boy get killed. And the thing was, he gets shot, he's dead. She gets, and it's sad that they in the hood close enough that where she could just sit on the curb and watch this happen. Yeah. So he's on the ground, he's like lifeless. They shock him, he comes back to life. She sees it, he goes back out again, and they shock him again, he comes back to life. Yeah. And then he goes back out again, and they're like, we're not shocking him, that's it.
Right.
So in her mind, it's like, all I got to do is get that heart back beating.
Mm-hmm.
So and that cures all death.
Is electricity or whatever. That's what she ended up putting some device on a high voltage fence to get her electricity in order to make it. I had no idea how she hooked all this up, because I was like, where's the cords? It was just, it was like one thing,
but it was
went to the next. It was almost like a Bluetooth situation. It was wild.
No, not really, because everything is connected to the power lines anyway. So so it ain't Bluetooth.
I was talking about where she was at. Like, there was nothing. Was there cords connected to him that were connected to like the power lines? Because I didn't see those.
No, it's a socket. It's connected to the socket. That device whatever device she had, it pulled through the power lines. Like, so you don't have to run a wire from that device. It kind of boosts from that power line, from that power box.
So it was connected to whatever that the brother was on.
Yeah, because what the brother was on is connected to through the lines. We all run through the same power lines.
Okay, so that's where I didn't see it. I was just like, because he got off. I was like, she got him on this door. It was a door, and he was like kind of roped to the door. So I'm just like, okay, where's everything else? I saw her grab the thing, the little plug socket. Then I saw the device that she had on the high voltage. So I'm just like, how is this working? But I mean, that's here, neither here nor there. You know what I mean? It's like it's a movie,
right?
I was just like, I'm just trying to figure out how it happened. But just like I said, I'm thinking this movie's gonna go totally different, and it ends up being like he turned into like a monster,
Frankenstein.
Like,
Frankenstein.
He's not himself. You know what I mean? Even though he can talk, but I don't even think that he knows he's Chris yet.
The thing was, he can't talk when he first comes.
He didn't say nothing.
He can't talk.
Okay.
No, because later on in the movie, she's like, who taught him to talk? And the little girl was like, I taught him to talk.
Okay, I was about to say, because he had
so
the little girl.
So I think the problem was he was dead too long.
Yeah. That you learn that at the end of the movie too. Yeah.
So she shocks him, he comes back to life, but she can't control him like she thinks she can control him. Because at first, like you said, she goes with him, they steal the drugs out of this car that we seen them selling the drugs out of earlier. They get caught stealing the drugs. This is where you see like he's like a Frankenstein, like almighty powerful, basically.
Right.
Because he chokes the dude out. He chokes the young dude. He don't kill him, but he chokes him out.
It just pushes his head on the ground, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Damn, what happened after that? Does she run? That's when she runs home, right?
Yeah, because that's what tripped me out. Because I'm just like, well, why are you leaving the monster? You know what I mean? Like, so he slams his head on the ground and she breaks. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then when she goes to find him, like he's not there anymore.
Oh no, she breaks. He returns to the lab. It is she tries to lock him in and go home. Like it's all good. I'm like, dude, he's not staying in that lab. He's not staying in there. What are you doing?
Yeah. Okay.
So she tries to lock him in the lab. What happened after that?
I mean,
no, they so the drug dealers grab her.
All right, because they saw what happened. They saw her run from the scene.
No, the dude was in the hospital and told her what happened.
I thought they saw her run from it. I thought that's what they kept saying. It's just like they saw the guy that was. They said they kept saying they saw.
No, dude was in the hospital. Dude was in the hospital. He wasn't dead. He told them what happened. They was like, he said it was you and your dude, your big dude.
Okay.
That was their thing, because they was like, where is he at? And then she like, I don't know. And he like, well, you gonna sell drugs for us then, for the drugs that he stole.
I could have sworn they were just saying it's like, yo, we saw you, but I mean, I guess, I don't totally remember, but that was messed up. It was like, all right, now since you did this, you got to sell this dope for me.
Because the thing was, nobody believed it. Because remember, there was like at first the thing was, nobody believed it. Then dude said I think dude said I saw the big dude.
Not the guy that's in
the drug dealer.
Yeah.
The other drug dealer. He was like, yeah, I saw him. He was like, what's his name? Let me find it. He was like, Kango don't believe me, but I saw him. Jamal. He was like, I saw the dude. Kango don't believe me, but I saw him, and I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna kill him. So basically, like, they know she's smart, she's a scientist, so they're like, you gonna whip these drugs for us. That's what Kango told her.
So at that point, I was just like, okay, the father was there for the whole teacher situation. Where was the father at when all of this was going down? That's
regular hood.
That was just kind of weird to me, because it's like he was always asleep.
The father, I don't know if it's why. The father doesn't protect her from her own environment. The father protects her from a world that's not theirs. So these white people ain't finna judge my daughter. But over here, it's drug dealers. People get killed every 10 minutes. People is getting killed while he's sleeping on the couch and she's trying to tuck him in.
He didn't even wake up.
No. So this is his environment. He like, no matter what, you are right here because this is our home. But if I got to come to the school because the security didn't put their hands on my daughter, we ain't having that though.
That's wild, because she came home with a black eye. She had burn marks all over her hand. He didn't see none of that.
He didn't ask about none of that. Yeah. But it's it's the hypocrite. Remember what Kendrick said in that song? He said, "Why are we tripping? What you call in the street? Or brother kill a brother blacker than me, hypocrite." That's what we are. We don't care when we'll kill each other, but we harm each other. We don't care. Like, but y'all ain't gonna do it.
You think that was a hidden message, or you think they just happened on accident?
I believe if it wasn't a message, it should have been, and that's how it came across to me anyway.
Okay.
Because she's literally beat up. She's literally being chased by these drugs. She's forced to sell or cut up these drugs. She's dealing with people getting shot. She has a whole lab where she's storing dead bodies. The daddy overlooks all of this. Yeah, but when he calls to that school, don't put your hands on my daughter.
I'm surprised nobody see her going in and out of that laboratory, like making all of this noise. I'm just like, where are the neighbors?
That little girl knew. Well, actually, it seemed like everybody knew, but nobody went in there. Nobody cared enough to go find out.
Go in there, yeah, because it's already too much going on. Like that whole neighborhood was like the projects. I don't know what city was that based in. Do you know?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, because even though I was like, I can't say, oh, they were Bloods, so they're from LA. That could be anywhere. There's Bloods everywhere.
That could literally be anywhere.
Yeah.
So Chris is running the street. She can't find him. Then she goes to the neighbor's house, to the little girl's house, right?
Yeah.
And then they're talking, and she's like, because her brother calls her the B word, and she like, you call her the B word, you calling all of us the B word.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she tell him, oh no, that happened outside. So in the house, they kicking it or whatever. And she's telling her, because the little girl's like, can I start reading now? And the sister's like, well, after this your last day on your letters. And she's like, all right. She's like, I want to hurry up with these letters so I can go play with my friend Chris. And that's when Vicaria looks like, what? Like she hear that name, like, wait a minute. Nobody else recognizes it but her. Like even the sister ain't like, what you mean, Chris? That's the because she's like, who? What friend she got? She's like, I don't know, girl. It's like nobody pays attention. Nobody pays attention there.
Yeah, so it's like they find out that Chris is living, I guess, in an abandoned house next door. Well, the abandoned next door, it was like a hole in the wall, and that's where he's looking.
The walls, those walls are the worst walls I ever seen in my life. The fact that it's a piece of plywood, all he had to do was cut a slit in it.
Seemed like the wall is just separated by paper.
Yeah, because I'm like, dude, there's no way. There's no way. The walls are too thick for you to just cut a slit and look through. There was literally just a slit.
Yeah, so like,
what do you think about was the little girl possessed?
I don't know if she was possessed versus she was just like a strange little girl. You know what I mean? I think that her being with Chris, you know what I mean, like kind of made her, I don't know, like, because Chris had wiped something on her face at one point. I don't know what that was, because then she had
that was at the end.
That was at the end part that she had that stuff on her face.
Yeah, the blood, that was at the end, but we didn't know why she had the blood on her face until she said it.
Right. What did those blocks symbolize? I feel like they kept on playing with the blocks.
I don't know.
I feel like that's
I don't know.
Something, and I just couldn't put my finger on it. But I'm like, I don't know why she was even able to be around Chris and him not kill her.
It's the innocence of a child.
It was almost like she wasn't like really talking to him face to face, right? Because she was like, he's right there. You know, even though he was on the other side of the building. So she pretty much just talking to him through a hole, right? That's how she kicks it with him.
No, because she said she'd been over there. So the thing was, she never called Chris a monster. Yeah. Remember at the end they were like, well, everybody else saw him as a monster. She didn't. So that's why he like bonded with her.
Yeah, I didn't get that either, because who else was calling him a monster? The dad didn't call him a monster. He choked him down.
He said father and tried to hug him. He said father tried to hug him. The daddy was like, no, he tried to fight him off. Like, you're a monster.
I don't remember that part, but I remember him looking at him. He was like, Chris. Like, he went over to him, dude held the frame. He was holding the frame. He was like, Chris, man, like, where you been? They said you was dead and all of that. And then it looked like he tried to attack his father. And his father was trying to get him off of him.
No. So look at it again. He tries to hug him because he stood up and he was like, father. He tried to hug him. And the father was like, boy, if you don't get like, you ain't Chris.
I still got about 24 hours with that movie. I need to check that part out again, because I could have swore he was like, why is he attacking his dad for no reason? I'm thinking that.
No, he tried to hug him.
Okay.
He tried to hug him. So we're talking about the slit in the wall. So the little girl, the reason why I say possessed, because the little girl saying the ABCs and she starts looking at Vicaria while she's saying it, and you hear his voice.
Right. I thought that was her being not possessed, but I thought she was just hearing things.
Oh, okay.
Like Carrie,
okay, that could be that. It could be in her mind.
Yeah, I didn't think that really happened. I think that she was already like kind of spooked out of what was going on, and then she started hearing voices after her. She said Chris.
Okay. So yeah.
That's what I thought.
I think I felt like
nobody else heard it.
No, but nobody else was paying attention. They literally was not paying attention to that little girl. That her baby daddy's dead and his name is Chris. This little girl said, I want to go play with my friend Chris. That would be an alarm in your mind if you was paying attention to this little girl.
Chris is a popular name, especially in the ghetto.
Nah, man. Her thing was always go. Her thing was
Everybody
always
know
go sit
Chris.
down and read those letters. This little girl speaks full sentences. You still got to read in letters. Like
Hey,
she's clearly.
I peeped that. I was just like, learning ABCs. That girl is like 6 years old, 7 years old. She got to be in like second grade.
But what I'm saying is, so I'm saying this little girl's intelligent. This little girl's very intelligent, just like Vicari is. But nobody pays attention to that. Nobody cares enough to be like, okay, look, yeah, you want to learn how to read. She could have been reading already a long time ago. But even when she asked, like, oh, can I learn how to read now? She's like, nah, go over there and say your letters.
Yeah.
You want me to just say, and she ain't even saying A is for apple. She just like A, B, C.
That might have been like something in that. It might have been trying to like dumb her down because like, oh, you too smart. Go read your ABCs. So maybe that might have been something. It was just like we're trying to bring her back down to being a kid. You know how kids just
that's neglect.
It looked like it, but at the same time, it was like to have a smart girl like that is like you had to be teaching her something. She ain't smart by herself.
She's learning from Vicari.
Okay. I mean, movie's not long enough for me to know their relationship like that. I know they was close, but not close.
Yeah.
She was teaching her every day.
Not like that, but she's inspired. Like she looks up to Vicari. You can tell she looks up to her at least.
Yeah. You think
so?
You think you smart using all them big old words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, I thought there was going to be a point where Chris comes and saves the day for her.
Yeah.
Never got that. We never got that. But she did sneak into the abandoned house. She's being followed though by Jamal, the drug dealer's henchman, into the abandoned house. Jamal ends up getting choked out by Chris.
Yeah.
And then the next day, that ring was bothering me. Everybody that got choked by him had like this filthy ring. So it's like, is he
has electricity in his body? So when he touches somebody, it's almost like it's burning. It burns them.
Oh, so he's still full of electricity.
I think that's how it went because when he grabbed his sister, she had a burn mark on her head.
Yeah.
He grabbed old boy's neck, he had a burn mark.
But that was fresh.
I don't know.
That's when he just got shocked. That's when he had just got electrocuted. So that's why I thought that happened. But later on, it was like everybody he's touching is the same thing.
I think it's keeping him alive.
But when we get to the section where the little girl has the big blood print on her hand, she's not burnt.
That's true too.
So can he control those powers?
Possibly. I'm not 100% sure. I just knew that when he did try to hurt people, that's what it was. Maybe he didn't try to hurt her. Maybe it was just like, I don't know why he even rubbed that on her face. They didn't really explain that. That could have been blood from anything. Was that a handprint or was it just blood splattered?
It looked like a handprint to me, or maybe it was blood splattered, but to me it looked like a handprint.
Yeah, it's possible. But anyway, as the movie proceeds, it's like she's still doing the drugs for the gang or whatever in order to stay in there, while I think she's trying to figure out, is she still trying to figure out ways to kill Chris or put him down because of what's happening?
It's like it's in her mind, like I can't control this dude.
Right, because at this point it's like, because at some point she's having a regular life, like nothing's happening. You know what I mean? It was just
like he's not running the streets and killing everybody.
Right, that's what was kind of bothering me. And then it got to the point to where, she's almost like she's getting followed by this. You know what I mean? She's getting haunted. You know what I mean? It's like somebody, she tried to bring back her brother. Like she ain't even acting like I'm doing this because I want my brother back.
Yeah,
it was all an experiment for her. It didn't even matter who it was. She wasn't trying to bring her brother back. I think she was just trying to make her theory true.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Because it wasn't at a point like you didn't even get a sense of, oh, this is my brother. You don't really get that sense. The dad was still grieving, but it seemed like she almost got used to death, or maybe because she doesn't believe in death. Death didn't hit her until she seen her daddy on the ground dead. As a little girl hit her because her mom died. Then her theory came in. She dragged her brother's body like he just got killed. She just dragged him to the lab. Like it wasn't even like a, oh my God, this is my brother.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I thought the movie was going to be about. Especially in the beginning, it was like, okay, my brother's dead. My brother's dead. I'm going to bring him back because of my theory, and then we're going to take back the streets. Yeah, nah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the brothers in the streets. We already talked about her going to that abandoned house, chokes out dude. They go to, so then we get the baby mama invites the dad over for family dinner. It's kind of a bonding moment. They're laughing, talking about the old Chris joke. Mm-hmm. Did you get a sense Chris was gonna bust into?
I thought he was gonna say what they were saying.
I thought that too. First I thought he was gonna say, what was he saying? Wackers?
Buzzard something. He was saying like something buzzard or
something like that. Whack busters or some whack buster?
Something busters.
Whack busters or something like that. I thought he was gonna be like whack busters, and everybody gonna be like, yo. To that little crack in the wall, just I was like whack busters.
It was like y'all trying to mock.
I thought he was gonna do one of those. Yeah, and then I thought he was gonna just bust in there and just go crazy because they even made it seem like it when the police was banging on the door, but we don't know it's the police at first.
Right, thought it was him. That's another thing about this movie. This movie has some jump scares. Like, I don't jump.
Oh, they did.
I don't jump easily. Maybe I had my TV up too loud, but I was like, the hell?
Hey, the jump scare that got me. The jump scare that got me. It is funny. The only one that got me is when she thought of her plan to electrocute him, and she put the thing on the fence, and you just seen him come running around.
Yeah. At that part, for sure. At the end, it was like, what the hell? Even the part when he finally came alive and he grabbed her hand, I was just like, oh wow. I was like, this TV too loud. Let me turn this down. I was like, they threw a bunch of those in there. I was like, as a horror movie, I felt this movie. Like,
yeah.
I felt like it had all of the elements of a good horror movie.
They got those. They did great at the what's around the corner scene.
Yeah.
Like with the creeping and is he gonna come out of here? Is he gonna jump out of this? It's they did good with them.
Yeah, for sure. So where did we get to the point to where because this came out of nowhere? It was like, I guess they found out the guy that Chris choked in the beginning died, and then the big drug dealer henchman dude, you said his name was Jamal.
Yeah.
Like he he finally stands up to the guy Kendall. His name is Kendall.
No, his name is Kango.
Kango. He stands up to Kango and he flinches at him. And Kango was like, you know what I mean? So he's like, he lost all respect for the leader.
Just that flinch.
Just that flinch was just like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're not even nobody like that. You know what I mean? You scared me. You know what I mean? I'm bigger than you. So he took a machete and cut his shoulder. I thought he was dead at that point. I was like, oh.
I thought the way he dug it in there, I was like, yeah.
I was like, yikes. This is a dude walking around with a machete. That was funny, but so yeah, at that point, he doesn't die, you know what I mean? Because after that, he's trying to. Why is he trying to help Vicarious now?
I think he always cared about her, but he had to play tough. Because even when she tried to check him on, you saw my dad drugs.
Mm-hmm.
What he told her was like struck her to the core.
Like, I helped her. She like,
because he was like, she talking all that. He looked at the dudes. He was like, y'all remember when he came over here, right? They was like, yeah. It was like he was on some suicidal, like, I'm about to kill myself. He was crying hard for his son, like, I don't want to live no more. So the drugs I gave him kept him alive.
Yeah. And
she tried to say something else. He was like, I'm the reason your family's still here right now.
Yeah.
It's like he had to play the tough role, but he still cared about her. You could tell because he was ready to let her go. She brought the drugs back. He was like, man, just let her go. But dude, like, nah, my boy did.
It was like, she ain't, you know what I mean? She ain't pay. She got to pay for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So his thing was, he still, like, he still cared because even opening that scene, you see him helping his mom or his grandma. He's feeding her.
Mm-hmm.
So he still got a heart. Dude don't got no heart though. Dude with the machete, he don't care.
That's a cold dude to come in and cut you up while you're feeding your cigarette. Wow.
Feeding his grandma like midget in New Jersey Drive. He was Eat your carrots. That's how he was feeding her.
Whole part played in my mind when you said that. Carrots.
Eat your carrots. So they run back to the house. That's when she discovers her daddy's dead.
Mm-hmm.
That's when she breaks down and cries, like, "Oh, death is real."
Right.
Then dude walk in again, the machete dude. He walk in again, like, I'm here to finish the job. You gonna die for this.
Mm-hmm.
She gets saved by Kango because he pushes her in the back. But then we get the scene of Chris coming in. Or like, oh, he's finally here to save the day.
Right. I don't even know
save
the day versus he's just around killing people that he saw.
No, I want to say after he killed dude, he wasn't trying to kill her. There was never a point where he was trying to kill her. Like you see him looking at the picture, like he's starting to remember, like, this is my sister. But then he kills dude. He slices him in his mouth, which he can't die from. I don't know why that wasn't no death. He sliced him in his mouth. And then they're hiding in the room. So he's pushing the room door open, but he ain't like he's strong enough to break that door down.
Right. And at one point where he was at the window, he could have broken to the window and got her, but he didn't. Like, he was just there.
Yeah. So he wasn't. I don't think he was out to kill her.
Yeah. It seemed like he was like just like he was terrorizing.
He was terrorizing whoever saw him as a monster.
Yeah.
So her plan, I thought she was trying to bring that door to the yard, and that was gonna make me mad. When she went in there and started pushing that door, I was like, you better not be trying to take that outside. How did that little girl get in there?
How did the little girl get into the
the lab?
I think that lock broke a long time ago.
But she locked it again.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the little girl was bright. She might have found a key. She might have broke in through a window. I don't know. She was just in there.
Yeah, it was weird.
She was like the mysterious part of this movie. It's like,
very
girl, why can't she do the things she does?
Right, but it was that's kind of heartbreaking because her plan works. She electrocutes Chris. He's back dead.
Yeah.
The little girl smiling. She's like, "Oh, so you can bring them all back then?"
Mm-hmm.
And she like, "Wait, what do you mean bring them all back? Bring them back." And then you go to the house and you see Kristen killed
everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like, who else saw him as a monster? I feel like he was just reckless killing folks. He was just killing.
But she said the little girl said he came in. I tried to tell everybody he was my friend, but they all attacked him.
Oh yeah.
So he saw them. They all saw him as a monster. So he killed everybody who saw. She didn't attack him clearly because she's like, this is my friend.
Yeah.
So everybody attacked him. So therefore, everybody got to die. Whoever attacked him or saw him as a monster, you got to die. Like, it is what it is. That's his lot. He don't have no logic because he's technically a brainless monster. Well, not brainless, but he's technically a monster because who is he?
He had been dead too long for him to be like regular. So that's what changes when she tries to bring back the family that died. He tried to bring back the pregnant lady.
Yeah, because she says they're still fresh.
Right. So when she comes back and she's okay, she knows who she is and knows her name and all of that. That's pretty much how the story ends, and you kind of can tell that she's probably just gonna bring back everybody that just died, like the dad.
I want to say I like that too.
Yeah,
I like the fact that her theory worked. The black girl won in the end.
Yeah. Just her. I wonder what was the baby going to be alive? And
the baby was alive.
Because she was like, it's alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, she was like, because that was her thing when she woke up. She was touching her stomach. She was like, oh, he's still alive. Like, I can feel him.
That was a Frankenstein reference. It's alive.
That's dumb.
Oh, like, is that their Frankenstein reference? That's what they.
It could be though. So it might as well. She was doing Frankenstein stuff, but I just like at the end that what her theory was and her executing it and being smart enough to pull it off. I like that it worked.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I knew that's where it was going, but I was actually happy how the movie ended.
Mm-hmm.
with her theory coming true and her being able to pretty much save her family. I think that's what's
Yeah.
so,
Yep. Well, that's how they wrapped it up. So we can get to these. Ready to get to these ratings?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go first this time, man.
I want to give this movie a ride. Right.
I'm gonna give this movie a ride. The movie was dope, man. The movie was dope.
Yeah, it was.
I'm mad I didn't get to see it at theaters because
it's only playing.
It's
only playing at limited theaters. I didn't have any other than Beverly Hills for me.
So it said they had one. Like, I don't live in Oakland, but I could have got to Oakland to watch it. It said they had one in Oakland, but when I went to that site that it was supposed to be at, it wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, man, and I was like, I don't want to bootleg it. So I gotta wait.
Yeah. The only reason why I gave the story a regular right, I liked everything else. I thought everything else was put together very well. It was just what I wanted it to be. It wasn't, and I felt like it. I felt like it could have did both.
What you mean? What you mean by both?
I feel like he could have been that monster that she used to help the community or help her find the people that killed her. It could have been that plus her theory working. You know what I mean? Like her finding out about it, because that was pretty much the big piece of the movie. It's just like, okay, does this work? You know what I mean? Is her theory right? And I felt like the story of him just because I didn't get the whole monster part from the dad. You know what I mean? The fact that he was just out just killing folk, you know what I mean, and then hiding. I didn't like that part. Maybe I thought it was going to be something else and it wasn't. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was bad. I just wanted it to be something else. So
right. I see what you're saying, but for me, the reason the story worked is because that would have been too perfect. Her bringing him back and then him being like her superhero protective type. That I think that would have made it corny.
I mean, it's called A Black Angry Girl and Her Monster. You know what I mean? Her monster, as in, something that helps her with whatever they're going through. Like, okay, like
right, it's her creation.
Right, like the fact that she was jumped into the gang and they made her do drugs. It's like, now when my brother's here, you know what I mean? Like my brother's gonna make sure this is not happening. My brother's gonna make sure my dad is cool. My brother's going to, pretty much set everything straight, I guess. Not in a superhero way, but more of like I guess like a superhero way in that case, because
that's exactly what that is.
It was already a fictional story,
Yeah.
I just was looking at it more on the lines of not a Jason or a Freddy Krueger, you know what I mean? More of like a guy that's coming back to kind of take back what he lost and get back his revenge. That's what I thought. Like, and I thought she was gonna get something out of it, like he was gonna help her do something.
But technically that's not why she wanted to bring him back.
Well, I figured that out after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't about him.
Yeah, it wasn't about him at all. It was more so about bringing back life. Yeah. And that's why I messed with the story tough. I think because I did think that was going to happen. So I did think she was going to bring him back, and it's like, oh, it's on. She about to bring him around. We about to put an end to the gangs.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. That was the theory I had. But the fact that they didn't do that, the fact that it was more so about her, doing what she set out to do.
Right.
It not working it not working the way she wanted it to work the first time, because she wanted him to just be back. It wasn't about him being back to change something or use him. She used him for those drugs for sure. She did for sure for that. But I don't think her goal was to be like, yeah, me and my dead brother I brought back to life are here to change the world. It was more so she just wanted to stop death.
Right. But I think at this point it could have been anybody. Like
it could have been anybody, but this is the one if she was able to work on this theory when her mom died, it would have been her mom's body in there and not her brother's.
Yeah.
So this is the one. If I can bring him back, it's more personal. So at least you have the benefit of bringing your brother back too.
Yeah, like I thought it was a good story. I guess I just didn't want to give it a perfect rating because it wasn't what I wanted it to be, and what it made it a better story for me. I guess it didn't go all over the place, but it was just like some of the parts I was like, yeah, this would have been better story than that.
Right. Yeah, you had a different different idea.
Yeah, but still a really good watch.
Right, very.
As far as horror movies go, black horror movies too. Because
do you want to shout out the director?
Yeah, Bomani J. Story. He wrote it and directed it. So,
dope.
Kudos to him. Do you think the title was a selling point?
Yep.
Okay. I feel like they could have named this a lot of different things, and I feel like the angry black girl, like, stood out at her monster. The title made me think that that's what the movie was going to be about.
Yeah, they definitely brought you in, and she was definitely an angry black girl who created a monster.
Right.
But you hear that in a metaphoric way when you hear that title.
Yeah, this movie could have been called Chris.
What?
I think it could have just been called Chris. You know what I mean? Because he was more. It wasn't about her having her own monster. It was about, like, well, actually, not even Chris. It could have been like about her theory. You know what I mean? Like whatever they would have called it, but like her theory about death, that could have been like the major plot of this movie versus a black anchor girl and her monster.
The theory about death was the plot of the movie.
I'm talking about the title.
Oh, you saying change the title?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Not the plot. Like more of like, okay, instead of the angry black girl, like that's what's bringing everybody in, right? But like if you name a movie about, like, I guess what it's supposed to be about, I guess that would have made me feel better. Like, okay, this movie is about her theory on death versus her monster.
I don't know. I don't know if it would be the same draw.
I mean, it would. I mean, you got to do what you got to do as a seller. You know what I mean? 'Cause you're not only an artist, but you got to be a good seller. You know what I mean? Like, you got to name it, but you got to name it cool. I'm not saying that it made the movie bad. I just felt like that was that's what made me think how I thought.
If you literally think about it, she was angry this entire movie. She only smiled when they talked about that one time at the table with her brother.
I would be angry too if a week went by and I saw 3 people died. Who wouldn't? I think the whole neighborhood should be angry.
She was angry through this whole movie.
These dudes had the gang sitting on the couch in the middle of the ghetto. Like, like, where's the security?
The Wire.
For real.
But that's the problem. That's the thing. This is our environment. That's why I said everything's cool to happen in this environment. Everybody's dying. Everybody's getting shot. Everybody's selling drugs. Everybody's doing drugs. But you come in here though.
You know what? Take back what I just said. I'll take all that back about the title being changed. It literally says the angry black girl and her monster. The tagline is "Death can be cured." I didn't look at the tagline. But it's so small, it's written right under there, right in my face. Take it back.
But I just think the angry black girl and the monster. That's the perfect title for what was going on.
It's definitely perfect.
Even without the death being cured.
The tagline that makes all the sense in the world to me, because it's like like a lot of, like some movies that have their, like, not all, but some movies that have like a tagline or like something that like The Equalizer. All he needs is 6 seconds or something stupid like that. You know what I mean? Like it gives you a piece of what the movie is about without really saying too much. So that makes sense. I didn't see that little small fine print under there. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
No, this movie is dope, man.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways, like, share, subscribe, talk to us. We talk back. We everywhere. If you there, let us know what y'all thought about the movie. We got to find a time to read comments because we keep saying we're going to do it, but we only do it on series. We got to find a spot to read comments. We'll respond to your comments all day.
Yeah. You know what it is the fact that they're about something that, like, so we will get like a comment on a movie that we did like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
We got to read. We probably just got to read them in front of them before we start the review.
We could do that. We could do that. Just maybe like 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, like, share, subscribe, talk to us. We talk about it. If you there. Black on Black Prime, we out
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify and follow us on IG and TikTok.